Right, next up, a wee Makita impactor. No badge left on this one. What's wrong with her? It's an odd one. It's a brushless machine, so it's not brushes. That sounds nearly as if the actual armature or something's got twisted or warped or something. She's definitely rubbing, but she's not running true. Could just be a bearing, but I haven't actually ever replaced a bearing in one of these before. It looks like it's been squashed down or something. I wonder if this has been dropped. It's been dropped from a height, that would explain it. See, bearing's okay. The rotor looks okay. She's obviously been rubbing though. The main thing is the motor's working. So let's get on and see if we can fix it. First of all, we need to figure out what's causing the problem, or what caused the problem. I hate that there. Somebody can't find somewhere to stick the bit, so they drive it onto the hole for the screw. And generally, they drive it on so it doesn't come out again. There. See, that's very tight. Shouldn't be that tight. She doesn't look to be rubbing on the actual stator though. Definitely does need a wee clean out. Maybe it's on the gearbox. Yeah, something's not right there. That's the problem. It should be moving freely. Clearly it's not. Bearing's okay. So I should be able to turn that by hand. And I'm not able to, so there's something wrong. There's the problem on there. It's actually trashed the needle bearing. Doesn't look like it was a drop at all. The needle bearing up in here for the hammer completely collapsed, fell apart. So these are all the wee bits of the needles stuck inside the gearbox. Should not run too well like that. Right, we'll strip this down and see if we can replace the needle bearing, or else replace the head. Now it's good that it has a needle bearing, it allows it to run a lot more freely. Bronze bushings eventually gum up, there needs to be a bit of grease, but that is one of the problems with the needle bearing. If they gum up, they'll generally wear out. A bronze bush will be more reliable, but longevity, a needle bearing will probably be better. This does have an actual rubber seal on it as well to keep dirt out, but still, obviously something's got in unless it came in from the other side. Now, look the breakdown, see if we can get that needle bearing on its own, or do I have to replace the gearbox? And the problem is, what model is she? So we'll have to go by something else. What else is going to have a part number? I'll go with a switch. I look up this part number, see what machines it's used on, it'll tell me what machine this is. Okay, can't buy the needle bearing on its own, you have to buy this whole gear case. Costs what, 15 or 20 euro? Well worth it at that. So leave that for now. Them parts ordered on. Try to leave all the needles. Don't forget that. And don't forget that. That's it. Put all that to one side. We'll fix it up whenever the part comes on. Now, this was a long time coming. The part has finally arrived. The date today is the 18th of the 7th, 2024. And that was ordered on the 17th of the 4th of this year. That's 3 months of waiting to get that part. It's not to say there's an oddball part either. It's a gear casing for an impactor. Just goes to show you, it doesn't matter what brand it is, they can all be slow in getting spare parts from. Normally Makita's fairly quick, but the odd part you can have to wait a long time. Doesn't matter what the brand, well, as long as it's one of the main brands that actually supply spare parts. Most parts can be got fairly quick. Some are going to take a long time. This took an awful long time. And I haven't actually even washed this thing out yet, so I'll have to get this to the parts washer first and give it a good clean. Now, that's her, all cleaned out. Now, I don't always wash machines out. They're not always necessary to clean. The outside, for the aesthetics, doesn't matter. This thing's going to get dirty again straight away. Only clean the inside is because this gear casing is worn and dirt and grit was built up on here. See, some of it's still there. Because that was packed out with dirt, that means these parts will have worn. Might make the new part a little tight getting in, so you want to get rid of all that packed on dirt. Plus, the inside of this, that bearing obviously failed and the seal gone, so all the grit and dirt actually got onto this here hammer section. So you want to clean that there out to make sure it runs correctly and get fresh grease onto it. But unless it's contaminated, there's not much need to clean it. This one did need it. Now, to rebuild it, get the new part. First thing you want to do is get some grease on that bearing down in here, this little needle bearing. Just in case it's a little light on the grease. Now this thing is built just like a big Makita nut gun. It's built the exact same way, just miniaturized. Motors driving these 3 planetary gears, which turn this internal shaft, which has a big hammer weight on the back of it. Whenever you're screwing and it meets resistance, this weight won't turn, but this here shaft will continue to turn. It'll overpower this weight on a spring. The weight will compress the spring. It'll get over the back of this anvil, these here legs. When it gets down the other side, then she's got all the momentum, and she'd slap and hammer this anvil or your butt holder and drive the screw in. That's how she's working. The exact same way as a big 1/2 inch nut gun. So it's a very effective setup, and there's not much going to go wrong on this side of things. Generally it's going to be a bearing, which it was this time, this needle bearing. Get that together. This wee nylon washer goes on the bottom. That's for the anvil to run on, so it's not actually running on any aluminium. It gives less friction, so this can turn more easily. But because this is getting a lot of vibrations, if you're using a needle bearing on this, eventually that'll fail. And if the needle bearing fails, you'll get catastrophic failure inside of this with these here gear teeth here. So it's safer to use a nylon one. Just put a wee bit into them holes for the balls as well. Now when it's nice and handy, drop that in. A wee touch of extra grease on the back of it. And we get a bit of grease on here, just where it's going to be making contact. You might have a washer over the top of these here pins, holding them in. The pins hold in the actual gears. Just make sure they all have a good coat of grease as well. A little bit down in here in the spring, and that's it. Don't overdo it. If you pump in too much, it's just going to come out again. Doesn't matter if it comes out this side, but it comes out this side on the rear cover, it's going straight into the motor. So we'll leave it at that. And your ring gear goes over that, locks into these 4 wee holes here. And I always get confused in which direction this goes. Pretty sure it faces up. Yeah, has to face up, because if it faces down, it's going to miss the actual gear teeth. That goes on there. A wee bit of grease on here for the seal. That should do. It's left hand thread. Put it on. There's no need to put this on too tight. Just hand tight is all you need. The last thing then is the wee rubber cap off the old one. The gearbox housing ready. Now the chuck sleeve itself, 2 balls, your sleeve, spring, washer, and you have to press the C-clip down over the washer whilst having the spring pressed down. Just get one edge in first. It's a wee bit tricky. Just like that. So that's the gearbox. Gearbox, and just drop onto the cover without the rotor, just sits in beside the field. Make sure your change lever is engaged in the switch. There's no wires sticking out that's going to get nipped. All the heavy ones and the light ones run up here along the side of the switch. Everything else is tucked back here. It's nicely laid out. And there's nothing overly tight. Should all come together nice and smooth. Shouldn't be any gaps. Like that. No, over molding's gone. That's what it is. All of the rubber like this here, that's actually meant to come all the way up around here. That actually meant to cover this gap. Rubber's gone, so that's why you see the gap. It's the right part. It's only for aesthetics. It's not going to make any difference to the function. Too much point in spending extra money on the man. Changing the cover as well, the whole motor housing. Not be of any real benefit to him, apart from just having it looking like a new machine. Then you can drop on your armature, your rotor, put on your rear cover. That should be this little Makita impactor, ready to go again. Look at that. Nice one. Nice one. That's her. One Makita DTD154 brushless impactor with a new front gear casing. And the old one, the actual needle bearing built into it that holds the butt holder, failed. So replace the needle bearing to replace the gearbox cover. That's her. All done. And that gear case only cost around €20 to buy that on its own. So this wee repair here probably cost what, €40 or €45 for me to do here in the workshop. That's what you're roughly going to be looking at to get somebody to do this for you. But you could easily do it yourself at home. And if you were doing it yourself, you're going to be buying that for 20 plus an extra what, €10 for carriage. It's going to cost around 30. If you wanted to make it look like a brand new machine, you could also change the gear casing, which would cost another €20. And the rear cover, which costs what, €5. That's going to leave it looking like a brand new machine. You can even buy the sticker for the back of it as well. You could actually sell this separately so it would look like a brand new machine. That only costs like €1. Even better than that, you don't always have to go for the Makita blue. Some 18-volt tools come in the white and the black as well. So if you wanted to, you could actually change the colour as well. Be a cool idea for Makita, seeing as some other countries have different colours of machines for Makita, to make them available here. So if you had your Makita blue machine and you want to change the colour of it, you could change them two parts and have a purple or a green or a yellow machine. That'd be a cool idea for Makita to do. Anyway, that's that one fixed. Hope you enjoyed the video, lads. Hopefully somebody gets a wee bit of use out of that. If your gear casing fails. Thanks for watching. Give us a wee like and a follow at the bottom, and give us a wee comment as well. And if you want to support the channel, you can also become members now too. Thanks for watching. Cheers.